I now call to order August 16, 2021, meeting of the New Caney Independent School District Board of Trustees. Time at 6 o'clock. Let the minutes show that a quorum is present with all members in attendance. Please rise for the invocation given by Mr. Trout. Remain standing by pledge of allegiance and honor the Texas flag, led by Ms. Sharp. Please bow your heads. Father God, we sing this time together, Lord. We thank you for all these people. We thank you for this beautiful school. We thank you for all these parents and children that came up here tonight to check out the school. We ask you to take everybody home safely when we leave here. It's in your holy name we pray.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item 2 on the agenda is Education Foundation presentation. Katrina, how are you?
This evening it has some very special.
Can we hold on?
We have some very special people with me here tonight. We have members of our board of directors here for our Education Foundation, and this is my second year to work, I guess you could say, a little bit closer with our foundation than I did in the past, and it really has been a great 2 years working with them. I genuinely enjoy getting to know them. This is a very dedicated group of people, much like you. They're volunteering their time, they don't have to, and they're volunteering their time. They've stuck with us through some new initiatives, and they're supporting our employees, which ultimately supports the greatest thing that we serve, and that's our kids. And we have Ms. Loving, Ms. Garden, Rudolph, Brad Erkey is here. We also have other members that were not able to be with us tonight. Our president, Suzanne Hereford, is not feeling well tonight. We have Dominic, who is not with us tonight, as well as Mindy Pearson. Laura Burns is not with us tonight as well. We also have a few that will be rotating off our board this year. We'll be welcoming some new faces. So the next time you see us, the next check you'll see, we'll have some new faces here. And so tonight, they, I believe, would like to present this check over to New Caney ISD to support our most important initiative with our foundation is to support employee scholarships. And this year, they've worked very hard to raise $55,000 they would like to donate to Caney ISD for employee scholarships.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the New Caney Education Foundation. Mr. Talbert's going to give us a little bit of an update on kind of how that works, just so people understand why donating that money is so important.
Yes, the most important thing we can invest in is our people, and the Education Foundation has been gracious enough to identify employee scholarships as the top need. And so what those are, they're $1,000 scholarships to our employees. A lot of the times what that is an aide that may go back to school that just needs that extra financial bump to finish that associate so they can get to the educator certification program. It could even be a teacher who's wanting to get an administration You know, we're all learners, we're all students in this district, and we never want to discourage anybody from doing that. And so our foundation has stepped up and provided them the financial means to continue their education if they so choose to do that. So if anybody's interested, Trina Pearson, who you just saw up here, our Director of Recruitment and Retention, she is the way that you would get in contact with that group to have the potential to get those scholarships to further your educational career.
Perfect. Thank you. Item 3 on the agenda is the public hearing on the Caney ISD 2021-2022 budget and 2021 tax rate. Shalette, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Step up.
Okay, there is a sign-in sheet on that back counter, so anybody that hasn't signed in, if you could please sign in, as well as copies of the budgets. Okay, we're going to start with the 21-22 budget. This budget was based on a taxable property value of $5.5 billion at 97.5% collection rate, with an average daily attendance of 15,502 and a maintenance and operation proposed tax rate of 0.9603 and an interest and sinking tax rate of 50 cents for a total tax rate of 1.4603. We'll start with the general fund first. Our local revenues, which is mainly made up of our property tax revenue, is $57 million. Our state revenues is $107.6 million, and our federal revenues of $1.9 million, for total revenues for general fund of $166.7 million. Total expenditures are also $166.7 million. That is broken down by a functional category that you can all see in the budget documents that are on the back. So that's a balanced budget for the general fund. The Child Nutrition Fund, our local revenues, which is child pay, is $741,000, state revenue of $363,000, and federal revenues of $9 million for a total of $10.1 million in revenue for child nutrition and expenditures of $10.1 million. So again, a balanced budget for child nutrition. On our debt service fund, all of our revenues now is dependent on local property values. We no longer are a state-funded district, so we got $29.5 million for our revenues and $29.5 million for our expenditures for a balanced budget in the debt service fund. Any questions on child nutrition, debt service, or general fund? Okay. We'll go to the accelerated education budget. This is just a formality. We get something called accelerated education money, and basically this is just the revenue and expenditures budgeted for accelerated education. This is also included in the general fund budget, so this is a formality that we have to do for compliance. Okay. And then for the tax rate, just as I mentioned, it's based on $5.5 billion taxable value. Last year, our tax rate was 1.4761, so we have decreased it by a little over 1.5 cents to a new tax rate of 1.4603. That's 0.9603 for maintenance and operation, and 50 cents still for interest and sinking. And that will support, interest and sinking will support our $28 million worth of, or $29 million worth of debt that we have issued for our bonds. Questions? That's all the public hearing. So stay here.
We got 3 motions to get through.
Yes, sir.
So on item 3 and 4, do we have any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the 2021-2022 accelerated education budget? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Moving to item 5 on the agenda is the consideration and adoption of the 2021-2022 general fund, child nutrition, and debt service budget. Do we have any other questions or further discussion on this matter? Is there a motion to approve the 2021-2022 general fund, child nutrition, and debt service budget? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Finally move into item 6 on the agenda is consideration and adopt to set the order of the resolution of the 2021 ad valorem tax rate and maintenance and operation 0.9603 at 100 and for debt service at 0.05000 at 100. Are there any other questions or further discussion on this matter? Is there a motion to adopt and set by order the resolution of the 2021 ad valorem tax rate and maintenance operation at 0.9603 at 100 and for the debt service at 0.50 cents per 100? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed is no. The motion is approved. Thank you. And now we move into item 7, which is open forum. Everyone signed up? Miss Amanda Roberts, how are you?
Am I the only one?
Yes, ma'am. You can come on up. So how it's going to work is I'm just going to read a quick little statement, and then you'll have 5 minutes, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So the board encourages comments from citizens of the district or employees. Anyone wishing to speak either as an individual or to represent a group may do so at this time. The board asks that the comments pertain to public education issues and no longer than 5 minutes. Remember, the board cannot discuss any issues that are not posted on the agenda. If any issues mentioned is listed on the agenda, the board will defer discussion until the appropriate time during this meeting. In addition, the board has adopted complaint policies that are designed to secure at the lowest administration level to prompt equitable resolution and complaints and concerns. And our policies are always available at NCISD.org. So we'll start the 5 minutes, and Ms. Roberts, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much for listening. I did email a few of you, but I haven't had a response, so I figured this was the best way to come in and voice my concerns. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I am a parent of 2 young elementary students. I'm also a substitute as a former teacher for the district. So I have some concerns about how last year we had a stronger policy on COVID protocols, and this year they have all somewhat. Basically, my biggest concern right now is that students who are presumably COVID positive or are sent home by the school nurse that have symptoms are not required by the district to stay home for the required 10 days. It is up to the parent discretion if they want to test their child or not. And if they come back without testing them, they don't have to stay for 10 days. And I think that is incentivizing parents to not test their children for COVID. So if the nurse sends you home and you're gone for 2 or 3 days and you no longer have symptoms, you can come back yet still be highly contagious to other students. So I think that is a policy that needs to be changed and not left up to the discretion of the parents. I felt like our campus did an amazing job last year. Our nurse worked diligently to make sure that students either saw a doctor or were tested, and if they came back with a negative test, then they did fine. And I felt like our numbers were low at our campus last year. Which brings me to the dashboard. Parents have 0 access to the dashboard by campus, by anything. And I would really like for that to be reinstated. Not only because I like to see my campus as a whole, but also I'm a substitute. And right now I am only subbing at my children's school because I have no idea what's going on at the other schools. And with an immunocompromised daughter who's in 2nd grade, who they stayed home most of the year last year, I have to protect my family. And I would love to sub. I really enjoy it and miss it. But again, I can't do that without having access to all of the information. As a parent, I feel like with our community spread being so high, transparency and communication from my district is important. And I'm not feeling like I'm getting that this year. Last year, I was so proud to tell some of my friends who are in other districts how great our district was doing with virtual learning, with communication, with the dashboard. I was very proud of our district, and this year I feel like some of that is slacking. I'd also like to bring up the fact that parents are only being notified on their campus by homeroom for elementary levels, and I want you to know that homerooms are being combined. So my daughter in 2nd grade is in a homeroom, but for indoor recess, she's going to somebody else's class. If that other class has a positive case, I am not being notified. That's a problem. I have a suggestion that possibly the district can consider maybe not doing it by homeroom, but by grade level, and stating 2nd grade had a positive case in this homeroom. Then I can talk to my daughter and say, were you with this class on these days? Did you have indoor recess? Did you combine for any specials? Also, the substitutes, we are lacking the numbers in substitutes for this year, just like we did last year. And it's very unfortunate, but I've seen it time and time again at all campuses, where if you don't have a body in that room, they have to split that class into other classrooms. And that is going to continue to happen as our numbers are growing and as teachers are getting sick. So I would really prefer to have a little more communication on that level as well. Also, the final thing that I had to bring up today was TEA has highly suggested that we can't mandate masks in the classroom or of staff or vaccinations and things like that. However, they highly suggest testing the staff, like over and over, like repeatedly, like weekly testing of the staff. I know that our district has set up something, I think it's with CVS on 1314, where they can go in and be tested, and that's wonderful. However, even if you're vaccinated, even if you're vaccinated, you can still transmit. Okay, I appreciate it. I hope you guys consider it, and I'd love to hear an email back from those that I emailed. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Roberts. We appreciate it. Item 8 on the agenda is closed meeting. The board will now meet and close the meeting with the authority of Texas Government Code 551.074 for the purpose of personnel matters and Government Code 551.071 for attorney consultation and Government Code 551.072 for deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Any action as a result of the closed session discussion will take place in open meeting. The current time, 6:17. The board now reconvenes in open session at 7:15. Item 9 on the agenda is reports and proposals from board members. I'd like to say that we lost a great employee this last week in Stuart Stanley. Stuart was just, for me, he always had a smiling face whenever I dealt with him. And, you know, I know you guys probably dealt with him more than I had the honor to than you guys were able to. But Stuart was just, he always had a smiling face, and he always did what needed to be done. And he's just going to be greatly missed in the Caney ISD family. And I'd again like to keep his family in our prayers as we move forward, because he will be greatly missed. And he was a wonderful voice for us. And more importantly, it's not about us, it's about the kids. And Stuart was a wonderful voice for our kids. He could tell a story better than anybody else could. So he will be greatly missed. Ms. Harold has one more presentation.
The board wanted to acknowledge somebody who takes great care of us. She always gives service with a smile. She goes above and beyond in making sure that we're comfortable and always taken care of. So the board wishes to recognize Angie Lee. And,
Just a small token that we're all poor, but you know, small token of our appreciation. Thank you for all you do. Okay. Angie is the one that keeps us straight, and if it wasn't for us, a couple of us would be in jail. But seriously, she does a lot of great things in the legal side for us, making sure that we don't say anything wrong. We move into item 11 on the agenda is consent calendar. Sorry, 10. We have no superintendent. Moving into item 11 on the agenda is consent calendar, considering the consideration of minutes, consideration of financial reports, consideration of purchasing reports, consideration of personnel reports, consideration of board member dates, and consideration of applications for staff development minutes, waivers for new Caney ISD 2021-2022 school year, and the consideration of 2021-2022 exempt courses for eligibility. Are there any other questions or comments on this? Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar?
second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Moving into item 12 on the agenda is consideration of district goals, presented by Mr. Calvert.
Yes, sir. Just going to go over our district goals. Cabinet and I have been collaborating, the principals and I have been collaborating and going over these goals and what it looks like to implement and try to achieve these goals in the district. So just briefly, I just want to read those to you. District Goal 1 is provide high-achieving student-centered programs that produce graduates who are prepared to be contributing members of our community. Goal 2 is provide a safe and orderly setting that enhances the teaching and learning environment for students and staff. Goal 3, provide resources to support current and future student-centered programs of the district while being responsible stewards of taxpayer funds. Goal 4 is provide opportunities for parents and community members to support student achievement. And as we've talked about many times before, there is a 1, 2, 3, and 4 beside it, but you got to have all 4 to be successful. And we collaborated to make that very intentional. One thing you'll see in all 4 goals is the word provide. We are a customer service organization. We are here to serve our kids and our community. So that was intentional to lead in all our goals with that. And the reason why we're all here, students. You'll see the word student in every single one of our district goals. Everything we do is for the kids. And we wanted to get that in writing and show that that was definitely a goal of our main focus in this district. So just asking for y'all's approval of those as we move into the school.
Perfect. Are there any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the district goals?
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those no, the motion is approved. We now move into item 13 on the agenda is consideration of approval of the 2021-2022 Parent Teachers Handbook and Student Code of Conduct from Mr. Castleberry.
Yes, sir. We provided you a copy of the 21-22 handbook and a list of the significant changes for this year, and we're asking you to approve that for the 21-22 school year.
Great reading.
Great reading.
But thank goodness he puts all the stuff on one big page for us, and then we don't have to.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the modifications on one page.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good stuff. Are there any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the 2021-2022 Parent Teacher Handbook and Student Code of Conduct? Motion has been moved and seconded. There will be no further discussion. A vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. We move into item 14 is the agenda to consideration and approval to award agreement with IBI Architects and Architectural Services to design and construct a new Caney Elementary School facility. New elementary school facility method. Bond 2018, new Porter Elementary School. That's a tough one to get up. That's a tough one. So Mr. Calvert's up on that.
Yes, sir. Our recommendation is for IBI Architects to help us with the design of the replacement campus for Porter Elementary. Mr. Danny Brewster's here tonight. They are the firm that helped us create this wonderful facility that the community's got to enjoy and our kids are now getting to enjoy. So our recommendation is to award those guys with the agreement to help us in the design and construction of the replacement Porter Elementary campus. That is the 4th and final project of our Bond 2018 program.
Perfect. Are there other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to award the agreement with IBI Architects Architectural Services to design and construct a new elementary school facility and procurement method? Here we go. Method Bond 2018 Porter Elementary School. Motion has been moved and seconded. There will be no further discussion. A vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is approved. We now move into item 15 on the agenda to consider and discuss nominations to act as a delegate to the TASB Delegate Assembly in Dallas, Texas, September 25th, 2021. Mr. Calvert?
Yes, sir. This is Texas Association of School Boards Delegate Assembly. Just looking for you guys to nominate one of yourselves to go represent our district at that annual task.
Perfect.
I move that the board nominate Beth Crippen to serve as delegate to the TASB Delegate Assembly in Dallas, Texas, September 25th, 2021.
I second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. There will be no further discussion. A vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Item 16 on the agenda is consideration to discuss nominations to act as an alternate delegate at the TASB Delegation Assembly in Dallas, Texas, September 25th, 2021. Mr. Calvert again.
Yes, sir. Same event, just an alternate delegate to go represent the Caney ISD at that district. So, take the nomination from you guys.
I move that the board nominate Elizabeth Harrell to serve as the alternate delegate at the TASB Delegate Assembly in Dallas, Texas, September 21st. September 25th.
Is there a motion to, is there a second? Mr. Ward, has there been no further discussion on what will be taken? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is approved. Moving into item 17, this agenda is to consider possible actions to pursue sanctions for contract abandonment for a teacher at New Caney High School and a teacher at the Learning Center. Presented by Mr. Cowder.
Yes, sir. This is asking you all to take action on both these teachers for contract abandonment, one at New Caney High School, one at the Learning Center, as discussed in closed session.
Are there any questions or further discussion?
I move that the board reject the attempted resignation of a teacher at New Caney High School because the teacher lacked good cause to resign after the penalty-free resignation deadline, and that the board authorizes the superintendent and designee to seek sanctions against the teacher with the State Board of Education.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Is there a motion on the is there a motion on the teacher at the Learning Center?
Mr. President, I move that the board reject the attempted resignation of the teacher at the Learning Center because the teacher lacked good cause to resign after the penalty-free resignation deadline, and that the board authorize the superintendent or designee to seek sanctions against the teacher with the State Board of Education.
Motion's been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Item 18 has been removed off of this agenda item. With there being no further business, the meeting is adjourned at 7:26.